Hey, how is everyone doing? I was supposed to have a live video today, but unfortunately, sorry, I was supposed to release a video today, but unfortunately, I'm unable to release the video because of some circumstances beyond my control. So I decided to go live instead because the motto for 2024 is, I mean, 2025. Is it only that's not 2024? Motto for 2025 is no grief for anybody. So while we're waiting for people to join the live, I'm just going to be talking to myself. I'm pretending that I'm shooting a video. But basically, I made a video about 2 weeks ago, or maybe last week it was. I think it was probably last week. It's okay, my handsome bubble. And in that video, I said that a mortgage was a scam. And that video has gained a lot more traction than I thought it would gain, because I think at the moment the video is sitting at Otto. Okay, fine. I think at the moment the video is sitting at close to um I hope I hope I'm audible. First of all, please let me know if I'm audible. But at the moment the video is sitting at close to 15,000 views or so. So a lot of people have interacted with that video and they've sent me messages and left comments in my comment section. So this is kind of like a little follow-up on that video about mortgage being a scam. Now, in that video, I listed the pros and the cons of a mortgage, and I talked about how, obviously, when people look at mortgages as investments, they're not really looking at the cost of buying, the true cost of buying the house, which is just beyond the listed price of the house, and also goes further to talk about the interest rate of the house, the cost of maintenance of the house, and every other thing that's associated with owning that property. People don't usually factor that in when they are talking about a mortgage being an investment. And that was the basis of me saying that a mortgage was a scam, because at the end of the day, you don't factor in a lot of things when you consider this mortgage an investment. It's over a 30-year period. Fine, you paid £300,000 for the house in 2024, but this is now 2064. 30 years have passed, and this house is now worth maybe £800,000. We haven't factored in inflation for those 30 years. We've not factored in the interest rates that you paid for those 30 years. We've not factored in the cost of maintenance for those 30 years. We've not factored in a lot of things, which is why I still stand by what I said. A mortgage, at the very least, for a house that you're living in, is a form of saving. Maybe that's what I'll call it. But an investment is a far cry from what a mortgage is, especially with the way the property market is moving nowadays. That property boom that happened in the 80s and 90s that everybody's using to judge, to say that a mortgage is an investment. Honestly, things are not like that at the moment, okay? Things are not like that at the moment. What I would say is, at the end of the day, and this is what someone came into my DMs to say to me, was, in as much as you may not consider a mortgage an investment, but there's a sense of perceived value that you get from having a mortgage. So perceived value, in the same light that you would view a car that you are using to move about, to go to work, to go to church, is perceived value. Because if you look at it math for math, as per 1 + 1 is equal to 2, you would realize that a car is a depreciating asset. But so are many things in life. But does that then mean that you're not going to have these things and you're not going to enjoy these things because they're depreciating assets? Everything must not be an investment. It's okay for you to just enjoy some things. And that's the way that I look at a mortgage for a house that you're living in. Surely you need a roof over your head. You're not going to sleep on the streets. Surely. And if you're not going to sleep on the street, then that is enough perceived value. Whether or not it's an investment is a different conversation for a different day. But at the end of the day, you are getting some value, which is a roof over your head. And you're getting some sense of security, because nobody wants to be 65 when they're close to retiring and still wondering about where they're going to get their mortgage payments from, or wondering about if they're going to be able to afford rent. Nobody wants to be in that position at 65, because at 65, what you should be doing is taking stock of your life because you are retiring, you are settling down, and you're just trying to enjoy the rest of your life in peace. So at 65, you don't want to be thinking about how am I going to be able to afford my rent. Meanwhile, do you guys see what I did for Tony's hair? His hair is so thick. I literally was just playing with it because his sister's hair is the complete opposite. But I did 3 braids for him. Otto, Tonto, Kilode. Anyways, guys, you guys should let me know what you think down in the comment section so far. I still said what I said. Because somebody in my comment section in that video came and called me an olodo in simple terms. Obviously, he didn't say it that way, but the long and short of what he said was I was an olodo. But at the end of the day, it really does take some critical thinking to come to a decision, and not just head mentality, which is what I think a lot of people do. They end up just doing that head mentality of, oh, I've been told a mortgage is an investment, so I'm just gonna run with it and it will be an investment for me. In Jesus' mighty name I've prayed. That's not the way to do it. And that's why somebody also mentioned that I should speak about mortgage for property that you are renting out. And if you watched that video, you would have seen that I said that there are 2 types of mortgages primarily. There's interest-only mortgage, and then there's repayment mortgage. For interest-only mortgage, you're literally just paying back the interest that the bank has given you. So if the bank loaned you 300K, for example, I'm just using rough numbers. These are not accurate figures by any means. But if the bank loaned you 300K and you've now returned, and the interest that's been calculated has been calculated to be £100,000 per year. Let's say that that's what the interest has been calculated to be, and you are paying back this interest over 30 years. With an interest-only mortgage, you're only going to be paying back that £100,000 a year, and you're not doing anything to pay back that £300,000 that the bank loaned you. Meaning that at the end of the 30-year tenure, you have to pay that bank back that £300,000 one way or the other. Most people who do property for investment, in the sense that they're renting this property out to buyers, do it in a way that they're only doing an interest-only mortgage, because bearing in mind that you're not touching the principal at all you're paying is interest. Just bear that in mind. And since you're paying only the interest, your monthly payments would be lower. Since your monthly payments are lower, you can potentially have a bigger profit margin. Example, you've got a mortgage of £300,000, right? And you're doing a repayment mortgage with interest rates and all. And with your repayment mortgage, your monthly mortgage payment is supposed to be £1,500 a month. Again, these are random numbers. I'm just throwing numbers out in the sky. They're not accurate figures because I don't have a calculator here with me to actually calculate. So I'm just throwing numbers in the sky, and just bear that in mind. So now, with a repayment mortgage, your monthly payment is supposed to be £1,500 a month, because you're paying back the interest and a little bit of the principal. Bearing in mind that in the first few years of you having your mortgage, most of your payments is going towards your interest. Very little is going towards your actual principal. With a repayment mortgage, however, the monthly payments are lower. So, for example, same example of £300,000, the monthly payments could be £1,100 versus £1,500 that the person who is doing the repayment mortgage is going to pay. So you then have £400 in between that can potentially be interest rates, that can potentially be profit for you, because at the end of the day, it's a business. You are using this loan to make some money. Are you done talking? Yes or no? So at the end of the day, you're using this loan to make some money. Tonto, why is it that when I talk is when you want to talk? Why? Anyways, so you're using this loan to make some money. So the repayment mortgage and monthly payments would probably be 1,100. So you have £400 in between that can be your profit that you can use to do whatever you want. And then you can still add some extra profit on top. So maybe if property in that area goes for £1,700, because you're on an interest-only mortgage, you can afford to make yours 1,600 so that you are more appealing to people. Don't do. So that you are more appealing to people and you can potentially rent out your property a bit quicker. That is with an interest-only mortgage payment. But just bear in mind that at the end of the term, you have to pay back that £300,000 that the bank loaned you back in full. So how you're going to get that money is your kettle of money. Maybe you sell the property and pay the bank the money. Maybe you will be saving 10 kobo every month that you use towards that £300,000 that you want to pay at the end of the 30-year mortgage. Whatever the case may be, but at the end of 30 years, their money must be complete in their pockets. That's usually how people who take on a mortgage as an investment view it, because they're there to make money. It's not just that they want to pass something on to their children, it's for money. Now, somebody also said in my comment section, I said, oh, that I'm looking at it in a very simplistic manner and I'm not factoring in a lot of things, this and the third. And honestly, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. The most important thing is that you do what works for you. It's not because everybody's getting a mortgage that you can get a mortgage, especially if you buy more house than you can afford. So, for example, if you're earning £50,000 per annum, by virtue of the fact that you're earning £50,000, you should be able to qualify for a mortgage that is about 4 times of your £50,000, meaning that you qualify for a mortgage of up to £200,000. If you do the math and you do taxes and all, £50,000 is about £3,000 a month, thereabouts, or maybe just around that number is what £50,000 per annum is. After taxes, national insurance, it will be per £3,000. Now you're earning £3,000 a month. Would it be wise for you to use £2,000 out of that £300,000 to pay for mortgage? Probably not. But that's what a lot of people do, because the bank tells them that they can qualify for X and X amount of money. They automatically go and get the biggest loan that they can qualify for, and then they put themselves in a tight fix, because it means that the bank is just calculating. The bank is not living your real life. They're only seeing your life on paper, so they don't actually know what your real life is and what your real circumstances are. They don't know that you're sending £200 back to your mom every month for them to use to pay your younger sister's school fees. They don't know a lot of things about your life, but you've then gone to go and take the biggest house that you qualify for, and that means that at the end of the day, you find yourself struggling because all these other bills are there, all these other random expenses are there, and you are still paying this mortgage that you've now put yourself inside. And that's when people start to feel like they're in a fix. Because bearing in mind that these interest rates are not fixed forever, it can go up, it can go down. But what if the interest rate goes up? And then what happens? That's when people start to say that they can no longer afford their houses and they have to sell the house because they want to downsize. Because many times they've gone to go and take more house than they can afford. Which is why, as a basic rule of thumb, if you are getting a mortgage, the goal should be that whatever your monthly payment is should be about 30% of your income. Again, random example. If you're earning £3,000 a month, 30% of £3,000 is what? What's 30% of £3,000? I don't know. But that is what your monthly payment should be. Give or take. Give or take. Definitely not more than that. Because if it's more than that, you start to strive, you start to struggle, which is easier said than done, especially if you live down south or in the peri-London areas. Because property around here is so much more expensive, and that means that your mortgage will be so much more expensive. But if you're living up north or even in the Midlands, it's a bit easier to achieve. But yeah, I just wanted to come here and say that I said what I said. I said what I said. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. I don't even know if my comments are live. I want to know your thoughts. So please share your thoughts with me. Share your thoughts with me. But I've got 2 people on the live. Can you guys wave to me? 1 person now. Can you wave to me? Anyways, guys, that is basically what I wanted to say. Since nobody wants to wave to me, it was so lovely coming on this live to gist with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to my live. I don't want to take too much of the time, really. I just wanted to come on here and just correct a few things about the mortgage. Honestly, it's a good idea if you think it's a good idea. It's a bad idea if you don't think it's a good idea. Whatever you think is the right answer is the right. There's no real right or wrong answer. It's just whatever your circumstances are, that is the right answer for you. Life is not black and white. There are many colors in between. If you think a mortgage is a good idea, then it's good for you. If you don't think it's a good idea, then it's not good for you. Do what works for you at the end of the day. That's the moral lesson of the story. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.